Good afternoon, and welcome to the VBCC User Conference. My name is Lisa Dion, and I will be presenting on the Business Insights Explorer module this afternoon. I'm going to refer to it mostly as BIE during this presentation, as it'll be a little bit quicker for me to say. So why use BIE? Well, one, it's super user-friendly. If you can use Excel, you can use BIE and create your own custom views. It has the look and feel and functionality of Excel with drag and drop and moving columns, filtering, double-clicking to resort columns. It's customizable. You can create unique views by the user. Your custom Office user-defined fields, if you have them, automatically appear within the views for you to easily add on to the reports. And unlike Crystal, you do not have to know how to pre-link any tables or as they are all pre-linked for you. Often when I was an end user and still get that request now, the standard Sage reports are fabulous, but they're usually either missing a field or we've added a user-defined field that's not there. However, most of the reports also do not export nicely to Excel. They require you to do some additional formatting, removing rows, removing extra columns. Another fabulous thing is when you're in the view, you can do right-click and drill into tasks. So if I'm in a sales order view as an example, I can do a right-click. It'll launch me right into sales order entry on the sales order that I have selected within my view. There are just a few limitations with BIE that if the table is not already presented in the linking, you cannot add a table yourself, but you still can do very complex calculations as you would with either Crystal or creating a query in Excel. So I would like to go right into demoing some of the cool ways that you can set up these views, and there will be a follow-up with the documentation on the formulas and the step-by-step that I use to go in and create these views that I'm going to demo now. So how do you get to the Business Insights Explorer? There's a couple of different ways that you can access it. One is through the Business Insights module. This also takes you to the standard dashboard, which does have limited options and is already predefined reports that you can print in a graphical dashboard view. But down here is the Explorer, which has the various different views for each module. Also within each module, you can get to it by going to, as an example, sales order, and then Explore, which is the way I typically go through there. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to walk you through how to create one in the Open Sales Order view. And I'm going to show you a couple of different things that I'm going to do in here, where I'm going to be renaming a field. I'm going to be formatting a field in all uppercase. I will also be going down into the lines, showing you how we can do some translations with named values. And I've also added in some filters in here that I am a operations management user and I do not want to see my make to stock sale work tickets. I also am not focusing on any of my quotes at the moment. And I've created groupings so that I can show a order total by my customer. The first time you launch the Explorer view, if you do not have any setting defined as your default setting, this is the standard view that will appear here. So this, in my opinion, has things that I do not want to see in here. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to add and remove columns. You do that in Edit and then Column Settings. And here you will simply uncheck or check the fields that you want to add. So I still want to, I don't care about my status. I want to get rid of my terms codes, my tax schedule. I'd still like to see my customer PO, my order total, but I don't need my order total broken out by all these various taxable, non-taxable freights. I want to make this kind of a small usable report. So I'm going to untick those fields here and my discount and if I've made a deposit. And I will click on OK. In my instance here, I'm using the comment field that you see in sales order entry on the main tab, but we refer to it as the project name. So I would like to rename this field, and I also want this to print in all caps. So again, I go back into my edit and my column settings. This time I will highlight, and you may not have noticed because I walked through it kind of quickly, but I double click to make that comment field bigger so I could read what's in there. So we can also set the width so I don't have to do that each time. So I will click on my comment field. In the caption area, I'm going to rename this and call it my project name. And I'm going to set a width so that I don't always have to make it bigger. And you can see how that just expanded that field right now. Like I said, I also want to change my format. I want to make this all uppercase. So at the format, I'll do the drop down and pick uppercase and then say, okay. Now I'd like to create a group by my bill to name. So I will simply do a left mouse click, drag the bill to name up into this gray area here. And now I have a grouping by my customer. But as you can see here, I also have my make to stock customer, which I do not want to see because I'm just really looking at my open customer orders at this point. So I'll click on the filter builder and I'm going to click on the three dots here, and from order, I'm going to change that to customer. And I'm going to change my operand to does not equal. And if you use multiple make to stock customers or you want to filter out multiple customers, you can do it a not in as well. So I could either do this does not equal and do my MTS and apply. And say, okay, now would probably be a good time to go ahead and save this view. If I did just go ahead and close the X, it's going to detect that I made changes and give me the opportunity to give it a new name and set it as my default view for all users. So I get the message that it's changed. I'll say yes. And here I'm just going to call this Open Customer Sales Orders. I also could have done a file save as. Okay, so now I have this saved here. Let's say I want to do a total of what my customer orders are. So I will click on the order total field and I'm going to do a group summary footer. And you can see here now it's put in these boxes down at the bottom where it detects what type of action you can do based upon the data type. So this is a number, so I can sum it, min, max, count, or give me the average. I want to sum. This one, because it's a date field, the only thing I can do is a min, a max, or I can count the number of orders that appear here. I would also like to set this as the default view. So I click on File, and here I have a drop down of options. I'm going to say default setting for all users. So time anybody launches the sales order view, it's going to bring in this setting here. But you do have the option of having multiple settings that you can toggle in between. I also have a lot of white space here where I can do another left mouse click. I can drag that up so that I can see these here easier without having so much white space. As you notice, because I'm this line is highlighted. This is the details of that particular sales order that I have highlighted here. I also briefly touched about the right-click functionality. So because I am on this order, I can do a right-click here, and I have tasks: customer maintenance, sales orders, invoices, shipping, RMAs. If I click on, say, enter orders as an example, of course, it popped over to my other screen. It automatically brings me into sales order entry on the order that I've selected. So if I need to make any changes or update anything, I can do it right from this screen. This is controlled by security. If users do not have access to order entry, it would take them into a order inquiry mode only. One thing I get often in the lines is that somebody wants to see what the product line is, but unfortunately that is not a field in the sales order detail. However, we do have a sales account key, which, looking at it, probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, as when we go look in inventory, setup, and product line maintenance, you will see the actual GL account number, not this key. Over here on the accounts tab. So I have, this is my computer cards sales general ledger account, 400-001. But when we look at it in this Explorer view, we notice that we have this sales key here, which doesn't make a lot of sense to anybody. So how can we do a translation or a named value of this? I'm again going to use my Business Insights Explorer and go to the General Ledger Explorer, and I'm going to go to my account view. This one here, I've already pre-added my account key. Again, simply by doing edit and then column settings, I just tick the box to include the account key. So this will help me do the translation between this 98 beginning number to what the actual account number is, so that I can translate it into something readable based again off of the sales account that's assigned in product line maintenance. This account key's got a bunch of zeros in it. I might make a mistake typing it. So what I can do is I'm going to go to File, Export Options, and I'm going to export it out to Excel. Make that a little bit bigger. So now I can go in, I can do a copy here. And bring back up my sales order view. I'm now going to drill into preview on my lines, and that was by doing a right mouse click in the gray area here. I'm going to drill into preview. And you can see that it's selecting the sales order number that I'm on, which I kind of don't want because I may want to see all of them. But also I have my sales account key here. I've added a second column to call this product line, and I will show you how I did that and how we're going to do the translation. Edit, and we're going to go to column settings. I'm going to take the product line off right now and say okay. Edit, column settings. I'm going to click on add. I'm going to click on add, click on my sales order detail. I'm going to scroll down here and get my sales account key again. And I'm going to change my caption to be I am product line. For my format, I'm going to choose a named value, and then check this use column level formatter. This enables this area down here for the named value. In the first field, I'm going to put in the key that I got from my sales order detail, or sorry, excuse me, GL account view. So that's the data that we're seeing in the screen right now. And in the second field, I'm going to put what I want it to be called. So this is my card product line. And I'll click on add and say, okay. I need to do it again because this is using sales account number 3. So you do need to do this translation for each value that you want to rename. Those are my chords. So I'm going to copy my account key again. I'm going to come up here and do my edit, my column settings, pick my IM product line, paste in my account key here. And those are my chords, chord, and then add. And I have one last one, which is number ends in a 2, and those are my chips. So I will copy this. And enter in chip. Click on add and okay. So now you see that it says chord over here, which is great, but I don't like it all the way down over here. So all I have to do is do a left mouse click and I can drag it to where I want it to be. Let's put it there. Additionally, since I've got this set now, I no longer really need my sales account key on there. So I will go again to my edit column settings, and I'm just going to untick the sales account key so that it doesn't appear in this view anymore. I'm also going to go into my filter builder, and it's defaulting in my sales order number because that's the one I was selected on the header portion of this. I'd like to get rid of that. So I'm going to click on the 3 dots and remove the row and then apply and say okay. So now I have all my sales orders here. And I can see that I also have a item where I have not done a translation to. So you do kind of have a check and balance of where you need to go in and make any changes. I'm going to do a file and save the setting as IM product line. And I also would like to make this my default setting for all users. I can use the back button functionality to take me back to the header where I have my sales orders here with my totals, and I have my item, and you can see it's properly doing my product line translation here. The lines is kind of a powerful area. If I go into drill into preview again, where on the header I can't get any line detail, but if I'm on the lines view, I can go into edit column settings and I click on add. Here you see I can get into both sales order detail and sales order header. So if I wanted to make something where it was, I had header and line information in one view, I would go into the lines and then pick something from my header that I want to add in here. So say I want to get in my customer. Now I have my customer number field here. You also notice though that it does have a comment. That is the lines comment currently. It also, because it is from the lines, if we added in the one from the header, I would have to rename it again. So again, you can do, double click here and it'll resort it in order for you. If I wanted to do something to make another grouping again, so say I wanted to get rid of all my sales order condition, I'm going to remove that row. Say okay. Now I want to group it by my product line. Drag it up here. I got a product line grouping. I want to see how much in sales I'm going to have for my product lines. Add a summary. Right click, and I'm going to sum. And so I can see how much open orders I have for my sales order view. Another great area, especially if you're an operations management user, is down in operations management, the Explore view. Time tracker data entry view can be a pretty powerful tool. This will show you any and all unposted labor that has not been updated through the daily labor register update. So it could be a great tool for your team leads in an area, your supervisors, checking and making sure that everybody who's present today has clocked into a work ticket. This again, because I do not have a default view for all users, is just bringing me in my standard view. May have more information than we care to see if we're doing it for confirming that somebody's clocked into a job or not right now. So you can easily do the edit column settings. I've done one here called my all employees. I kind of got rid of some of all the budget information and everything. I have also grouped it by my activity code so that I could kind of quickly look at who's clocked in each department. I've also taken this view and I can create multiple different views from the same one. So I already have one here for my work center activity code CFG. So that's already got my predefined filter in it. So if I'm the supervisor of that area, all I need to do is come and pick that setting and not be bothered by looking at all my other employees. And to do that, I simply use my all employees one, which is already pre-formatted in the information I wanted to present to my supervisors. And I'm simply going to go click on the filter builder now, click on add, change the transaction date to my activity code equals, and I'm going to pick my OSYS, apply, okay. And I'm going to click on file, save setting as, and I'm going to save it by that specific activity code. Now, when I come in here in the morning, I've got all my different views that I can select from, or it's a great tool at the end of the day to make sure that everybody has clocked out of their jobs. As you know, you can't update labor unless they have an end time on their work ticket, or their time, excuse me. So this can be a great tool for that. And again, operations management, explore the scheduling view. Here I can see all my work. I can see all my work tickets that I've grouped by activity code. Additionally, putting in a filter that it is that activity code and that I'm excluding anything that is a quote that could be on a make to order type of work ticket that I'm not concerned about scheduling right now. I have my production start and due dates. I have my budgeted hours. Again, I can easily create a summary so I can see how many hours do I need to have in that activity code. These both have the same production due date, so your due date could be an additional filter, or your start date could be an additional grouping. And you can have multiple groupings that just keeps chaining them all together. And then now you can see that it's giving me a summary of how many hours that I need for my blank start date, but it's also breaking out this one that's going to start on the 24th. and give me a total overall hours that are required for that particular activity code. And like I said, again, lots of great right-click functionality. You can get in, you can edit the work ticket. As I noticed, this one here is missing a production start date, and I'm highlighted on it. I go into my work ticket edit. Select my step. And let's update my production start date properly. Accept that, close the work ticket. And without having to leave this screen, there's a refresh button up here. I'll refresh my data, and now you can see that my production due date appears there. Either your users can come in and look at these views themselves, or you can do things by exporting it out to Excel from them. From here, again, with that whole right-click functionality, you can use this as a tool to print your work tickets as well. This time I'm doing the inquiry. And from right here, I can get into my work ticket printing, print it, release it, and send it out to the production floor. So I hope I've given you a good flavor for all the things that it can do for you. If you have any additional questions or would like to go over anything further, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, Lisa Dion at VBCC. Thank you for your time.